Okay, welcome to the Detroit Planning Commission meeting for May 24th. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Here.
Mr. Wolke?
Here.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Here.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Here.
Mayor? Here. Mr. Tippington?
Here. I'll let the minutes reflect that Mr. Tim Davis has walked into the chambers 1 minute late. Welcome, Mr. Davis.
Hello.
First matter to come before the commission today is the installation of a roof-mounted solar panels. Staff report.
How about the minutes?
Yes, sir. So power.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Mr. Davis just kind of threw me for a loop when he walked in. So we've got our minutes of our May 10th meeting to address.
Make a motion to approve the
I'll
minutes.
second.
Any further discussion? Please, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They stand approved. Now, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. So Power Up Renewable Energy Incorporated has come before the Planning Commission today for the installation of solar panels that face the public right-of-way. So this is going to be on 1415 Sussex Road. The home faces south on an interior lot between Norwich and Sussex Road. The solar panels will be located on the front right-hand corner of the roof facing Sussex Road. Therefore, it's the reason for the request as described in Section 1151.14F2 in the City of Troy zoning code. If you look in the packet I gave you, right before you, there's an owner authorization form, there is a map, there's a visual of what the house looks like, and a site plan also. It's important to know in Chapter 13 of our City of Troy comprehensive plan, goal number 7, they state the city shall encourage new construction and renovation to take advantage of the green movement to support energy efficiency and renewable energy uses. Staff recommends approval for the installation of roof-mounted solar panels based on the following. The solar panels meet all requirements of the zoning code, and the solar panels meet goal number 7 of Chapter 13, visioning of the current comprehensive plan.
And did you poll the neighbors?
I did, so I went out, before we had planning commission and knocked on doors and tried to speak with some of the neighbors.
And
But
were there any objections to solar panels by the neighbors?
no, nobody really objected to anything.
You were able to talk to?
Some of them, it was around lunchtime, so not many people were home still at work, but some neighbors came out, but they didn't have any negativity towards it. Nothing like the last solar panel request we had.
Well, I'm going to suggest that as a matter of routine on these solar panel issues, that we canvass the immediate neighbors and the ones right across the street.
Yeah.
I think that would help us out if nobody cares. And
Do you want like a form that has their signatures or their,
that'd be great,
have something that they can have feedback, like some type of
They shouldn't
comment?
have to approve it, but they don't object to the solar
Right.
panel. That type.
Yeah, because a lot of the opinions, they just say, well, it doesn't bother me any,
Yeah.
it's not, they didn't really have anything negative towards it to say, so.
Okay. Any questions of staff?
Well, I guess I'm confused. It comes to us for approval, but it practically tells us to approve it.
Well, I don't have an answer for that. I think somebody else a lot smarter than I created this.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
So am I right that the solar panels are on the front of the house facing the...
Yeah, they haven't been installed yet,
Okay.
so this is, I made it clear that you cannot do work before, approval, of course, but it'll be on this house, it'll be on the front right-hand corner. And the reasoning for that, these solar companies do data tests, to see what amount of sunlight's gonna be hitting the roof, and the most effective area is that front portion. But, obviously it says if it faces the front, it'll be approved by Planning Commission.
So what's the difference in these two houses? Don't we have a rule that it can't be on the front facing the street, or am I wrong?
It just says it has to go before the planning
It
commission.
just has to go, okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's all it says.
And then we're told that we have to approve it.
No,
It's a goal.
There's no,
That's what this says.
but
A goal.
there's no
Okay.
guidance
Right.
in the code. Well, I think staff ought to maybe recommend some guidance.
That would be a good idea.
Because we've got two examples here, and I feel differently about both of them. I feel two different ways about each one of them.
Well, go ahead and speak to that right now, it'll be fine.
Well, I don't have an issue on this, so.
Are these going to be flush against the roof, or they're gonna be at an angle?
They're pretty flush, they have a mounting bracket that was in the full set of plans. I mean, it's just a set bracket, and then they install the panels on top of it.
If it's gonna be flush against the roof, it'll be less ugly than if it were at an angle.
Yeah, see, like, it's way different than like a ground-mounted solar panel where they have to screen it with landscaping, per our zoning code, and then, so we do have standards for ground-mounted, but, like a ground-mounted would be angled like that, so it hits more. It would be typically 9 feet at one side and 2 feet at the other, so it'd be completely angled there.
What would be the problem if we were to say, no, we don't want it in front of the house, go put it on the back of the house?
Yeah, they would have to move it back to
And
find a different position. They could either try to do ground-mounted if they have the area, and then meet the setbacks, of course, and screen it with proper landscaping, or they can move it to the back of the home.
how much more construction problem would there be for putting it on the back of the house?
And I think it would probably kill a lot of these because they're running the analysis to see where to maximize the sunlight. So if you restrict it to the back, chances are it's not gonna produce enough sunlight to meet their needs and warrant the solar panels. It's definitely a topic that we should explore further.
And if your house is facing the south, you're at a disadvantage, whereas if your house is turned a different way, then you have the advantage.
What do you mean? Do you get more sun if you're facing south?
Yeah.
So that's why they're looking for south-facing surfaces to put them.
Because Ohio is so sunny so many days out of the year.
We have been getting a lot more of these, it's pretty uncommon. We as staff, we try to tell them to go to the back of the home, it's more preferred. But I did double check with both of these applications, made sure that they want to go through with this, because I told them the process. I said it would be a lot longer of a wait, because we have to go to planning commission, so. But we always try to advise them to move it to the back of the home first.
And at this time, we do not have a rule about consulting the neighbors.
Not written in the zoning code, but it's always just decency of courtesy of staff to.
But in other matters, I guess my concern about doing that is, in other matters, we don't necessarily encourage that because this set of neighbors may be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
That set of neighbors may not be there in another 5 to 10 years, but those solar panels will.
But
We have the
they're
same issue when, the BZA might have an issue that comes before them and a set of current neighbors that are getting along, and they say, well, sure, they may have built it a little too close to the setback, but we don't mind, so we'll just let it go. Well, the next set of neighbors may have an issue with that.
But that next set of neighbors is buying their house or renting their apartment knowing what the condition of the property in the neighborhood is. So I don't have any problem with that.
Well, you could
So I
say the
think
same thing
the-
about cemeteries and sewer plants, but,
Sure.
Yeah, I think if we start
They always
asking
think that way.
neighbors if it's okay, we get into trouble. It's like with the bees.
You can't base your decisions on neighboring
Yeah.
items. You can notify them, you cannot use that to base your decision.
Right, and that's where I have trouble asking the neighbors for permission to do that.
it'd be nice to have a gauge, as long as we're not basing our decision on that.
Right.
Certainly if we have somebody that's very strongly opposed, strongly enough that they're not willing to sign the paper because, it takes a certain level of opposition.
If they're
before you're
opposed, we
willing
could
to
ask
say
them,
no.
why are you opposed, and we could consider their reasoning.
Yeah, I think on the next request, I think there's gonna be obviously more and more to come. On the next request, we'll come up with a form that just, it'll have, their signature and their comments if they want to. I'll just, explain to them, there's a matter going for the planning commission, do you have any comments for them?
Did these people have to submit an application?
The neighbors?
No, the person with the solar.
No, so what that form is, the solar company submitted the application, so we take it from the contractor, but that was the owner's authorization, and kind of like a historic review. Obviously, you have both property owner and, the applicant sign the form. And so that just says
The
that,
short answer is yes, there is an application.
There is an
Yes.
application.
But that isn't a part of the package we received today.
There is applications that we've gone digital with the new portal, so the applications do look a little bit
Oh, is
different
that what
now.
this is?
That's what that is. That is our digital application.
That's right here.
Maybe you could submit as a part of the application, have the applicant go door to door, so you don't have to spend the leather to walk. But, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I happen to disagree with you, Mayor. I think it's important for us to know what the neighbors want. Not that we're making our decision based upon what they want, but if they have any objections, we can learn from their objections and see what's the problem.
I think any questionnaire needs to be specific, that your opinion does not necessarily affect,
It's more so a notification that this item's coming before the planning commission, and here's your meeting.
And I think I'd rather have it called that, notification of the neighbors, rather
That's
than
more
what's your
relevant.
opinion.
and we can do that, we can notify them, just like, yeah, I don't think that would be a problem.
Okay, let's get back to the matter. Any other questions of staff? Anyone want to take a crack at motion to approve or disapprove?
I'll move we approve.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and support for the motion. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Capper?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, next we have another solar panel issue on Ross Street. Staff report.
Yeah, so the same applicant, Power Up Renewable Energy Incorporated, is the same thing coming before you for solar panels facing the public right away at 385 West Ross Street. So this home faces southeast on an interior lot between Vincent Avenue and West Ross Street. This would be located on the same, it's the front side of the roof facing West Ross Street. Therefore is the reason as described in section 1151.14 F2. Staff recommends approval for the installation of roof-mounted solar panels based on the following. The solar panels meet all requirements of the zoning code, and the solar panels meet goal number 7 of chapter 13, visioning of the current comprehensive plan.
Questions? One of the issues, you know, if these solar panels look black, which a lot of them do,
Yeah,
and this guy's got a black roof, well, it's going to kind of blend in.
yeah.
Well, we don't have any control over whether or not it's a red solar panel, or a yellow solar panel, or chartreuse, or striped, or what. There's no guidance in here at all. Nor in the application is there a reference to what color they are.
I think both of them were just
The
black.
solar panels are black.
Yeah, there was no tint.
These solar panels are black. I believe that this roof is like a beige color.
Yeah.
I've never seen them in any other color.
Yeah, I haven't seen a red tint either.
Yeah, we're talking
But it
about...
may be $1 million idea there.
Run with that one.
I assume black would absorb the heat better.
I would guess.
I don't know.
With technology
Big black is-
advances, you never know. They might start looking at decorator colors for those things.
Paisley.
So is it my understanding we're,
Turn colors at Christmas?
I guess what I'm saying is that, yeah, that'd be one. What we might want to do is say, okay, yeah, we would approve this with a specific color or somehow.
so is
You guys
it,
don't have a concern about that,
well,
because we're making approval without any questions of color. Ed, go ahead.
I'm not a fan of them on the front. That's me. I don't like the looks of it, but I understand the goal of it and the idea. I would like for us to put some kind of guidelines that maybe we can hone in on. Because right now I understand it fits our criteria, but I don't think it looks great. I don't see them going different colors, because I presume black's going to pull all the color in, or the solar in. But anyway, that's just I'll make a motion to approve this one, but I'm not a fan of solar panels on the front of the house, and I would like
Do we
for
have
us
a
to...
discussion first?
Well, we can second it and then have the discussion, I
Yeah.
guess.
But
I'll second it for the purpose of discussion, I guess.
Okay, there's a motion and support for the motion. Is there any discussion?
I just want to point out in all this discussion of what it looks like, that you do have a goal here for more efficient energy. And, I mean, that's been stated.
As a goal, yes, it's
I
goal
mean, it's
number
important what it
7,
looks
so there's
like.
6 other goals. I presume that
Let's
maybe
put a
they're not in
windmill.
priority order, but
I'm good with efficiencies, but I still think there's
There's the aesthetic.
But it
aesthetics of the
penalizes
property.
somebody whose house faces the wrong way.
Not necessarily, there are different ways to deal with it, you know.
I just feel like we should investigate it more in regards to what maybe our guidelines will be going forward, instead of just,
We need more guidelines.
And Sandy, keep in mind that this is a comprehensive plan,
Yes,
or goals,
yes.
guidelines, so to speak. It's not anything that we have to follow, but they're there for, to go ahead and steer staff the right way, things like that.
I just want to point out, people are trying to do the right thing energy-wise. Okay, maybe if they have an option of a purple polka dot house, you know, then I think would become a real issue. But there are a lot of black roofs around.
Mr. Finch, you have something?
Yeah, so, I had mentioned that I had kind of differing opinions. I agree with Ed. I don't really like to see them in the front from driving by, but, at least the last one that we approved, it was only, those panels were only a third of the front of the roof. In this case, it's pretty much the entire roof. Why is there such a big difference?
Probably the size of the house, the electric requirement.
I'm assuming that's where the difference is the analysis that the solar company did to maximize the amount of sunlight when it hits the property.
Well, I mean, I know these pictures aren't necessarily to scale in comparison, but one house doesn't look like it's that much bigger than the other house.
Well, maybe they
So I don't
can
know.
afford a bigger one.
One thing that we could potentially look at doing is maybe putting a percentage of the front yard roof area.
Yeah.
Put a
But that's
maximum
where more
percentage.
discussion comes in.
yeah. Because I'd want to understand it more, so we're not taking away from the goal of them using solar energy, but I like that idea.
We'll do some research on it and bring it back to the next meeting.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second.
Is there any further discussion? There's a motion, support for the motion. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Capper?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next matter is rezoning application. Staff have a report.
Yes, sir. So this is a request by the applicant Mandate Singh for the Planning Commission to consider the rezoning of 2 total parcels at 1511 South Market Street and 1551 South Market Street. It's 1.25 acres and 2.5 acres. From the M2 Light Industrial District to the B2 General Business District. The property is located on South Market Street, south of Dimel Road. It's on the corner of Walco and Dimel. The zoning code describes the proposed B2 zoning district as intended to provide for the development of major retail shopping areas and centers outside the downtown area. These districts include much of the strip commercial property that exists along the major streets of the city, and that's the stated purpose for the B2. The comprehensive plan future land use displays this property as existing schools, institutional, and religious uses with future industrial to the southeast of the subject property, but it does not provide any guidance on the specific 4 parcels on the corner. Due to the straightforward nature of the rezoning request, the compliance with the intent of the zoning code, and the fact that City Council is required to hold a public hearing if the request proceeds on, staff does not feel that a public hearing before the Planning Commission is warranted. It is staff's opinion that the proposed rezoning will achieve the desired development. However, the comprehensive plan identifies the surrounding area as future industrial. The comprehensive plan does not clearly define the boundaries of the future industrial development. The intent of the B2 General Business District is to be mapped along major thoroughfares. Due to the age of the 2005 comprehensive plan, future industrial development is not warranted based on the current surrounding uses. Staff is recommending that Planning Commission recommend approval of the proposed rezoning from the M2 district to the B2 district based on the following. It's consistent with the intent or purposes of the zoning code. The rezoning is consistent with the surrounding zoning districts to the north, and the use is consistent with permitted uses in the B2. And that'll conclude my report.
Any questions by staff? Does the commission want to hold a public hearing?
Make a motion to not hold a public hearing at the planning commission level?
I'll second that.
There's a motion second. Any further discussion on that motion? Please keep in mind, an affirmative vote means we're not having a public hearing. Please call the roll.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Capper?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Now, the recommendation of city council concerning the rezoning. Any questions of staff?
Well,
I
I know
think
we've got,
two parcels.
I know we've got a new comprehensive plan coming, and I hope as we look at a new comprehensive plan, that maybe we're a little more sensitive to retaining the industrial land for future development.
I'm just curious, I think this was beforehand, but I don't know how industrial land fits with an airport right behind it.
I'm assuming, it's my understanding that future industrial was referenced there with the idea that the actual manufacturing facility of Walco, the idea that we would be able to recruit that back when the comprehensive plan was wrote.
Well, not all industrial has tall smokestacks.
Well, no, I get that, but...
And besides, they got those wires at the end of the runway anyway.
I get it. I think it's just kind of a weird place for it.
But I think your point's well taken. I think we need to be real concerned about our industrial inventory.
I agree.
Okay, I particularly like the language that Mr. Singh put in his letter to you, that the purpose is for future mercantile development. I thought that was, now there's a legal phrase we call wishy-washy, and that's kind of wishy-washy.
I figured as a lawyer you'd like that language.
Okay, anybody want to take any action on this?
Move that we recommend approval.
I'll second.
Motion and support for the motion. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Capper?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Staff have anything else coming before the commission today?
Just one quick item, we started our rounds of consultant interviews for the comprehensive plan. The next batch will be the week of June 5th through the 9th, so hopefully we'll have a consultant selected at that point in time.
How long will it take for a comprehensive plan?
18 months on the quick side.
Is there any way to slow things down that we do until that new comprehensive plan? I mean, we keep talking about things that don't match the comprehensive plan.
Well, we can't do a moratorium on everything.
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking. Can you slow things down?
No,
And wait till you get your
I guess that's a
comprehensive?
legal question for our law director, but
Some of
I
that's
believe that he
relying on
would
staff to do
support
the
that.
analysis.
I would hate to have that
We keep
representation get out.
referencing how old the comprehensive plan is, and we don't like this, and it doesn't match, but, yeah.
Well, I think as far as solar panels, when somebody approaches you guys again on solar panels, try to push them as best you can to the back of the house, because you've heard a number of us speak today that we don't like to see them on the front. That's not necessarily in our guidelines of the comprehensive plan, but I think that would be some
Well,
threshold.
we also talked about this property out on 55 in Nashville Road, that, you know, that says industrial land, and yet we're approving housing to go in there. So,
Well, it was an area where it was industrial, but it was a kind of a transitional, you know, the comprehensive plan has bubbles, and those bubbles were overlapping between residential and industrial in that area.
I don't think
so-
industrial would go over well there either, but... Okay, thank you.
This is not a public hearing. Okay, Mr. Davis, come
First the
forward.
mic, give your name.
Setting a
Tim
precedent.
Davis, 100 South Market Street. Thank you very much. I think one of the items that Austin failed to mention was the Phase 2 of the comp plan is a zoning code update as well. And so our goal is to take the comprehensive plan, the newly approved one, and have a new zoning code to match that and address the items that we're talking about. In our interview discussion, that's been something we've talked about in the first interview round, was how are we going to have the zoning code match the comprehensive plan, because right now it's kind of a hodgepodge, which is leading to these discussions here. If we can clean that up, address that throughout the process. That might be an additional 6 months or so after the comp plan, but it'll be well worth the end product when we get to that point, so just wanted to bring that up.
How are we interviewing consultants? Is there a team looking at the consultants?
We have a selection committee of internal staff. There's 5 of us total.
Is it this 5 here, or who is it?
It's the city engineer, assistant, one of the engineering techs, and myself in Austin. And we do rank them. We have a grading scale that they'll be graded upon, and that's how we achieve. We received, 11 RFQs, and we interviewed the top 4.
Great, thank you. Any other reprimands to Mr. Davis? Any matter the commission want to address? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.